All right, so what do I think of the Bumpboxx retro pager overall? I think it's a cool gimmick. I mean, yeah, it's a gimmick, right? It's a retro pager. There's no other Bluetooth speaker that comes in the pager form factor like that. And so if you're into that, the whole retro thing, and you want to clip a portable speaker on you, then yeah, go for it. Again, the price point is high. It's high, there's no denying that. But it's a premium dollar amount for a very unique product. If you're looking for only a speaker to function as a speaker and you don't really care how it looks like, then there's plenty of other options out there that you can get off Amazon for fractions of the price. Okay, but there's nothing else that competes against the retro pager. All right, before we get into this, we are going to talk about the price because price is always important. There is a premium for this form factor. It is like a pager. And when I saw it on the website, it looked bigger than I imagined, or at least I was thinking it can't possibly be the same size as a regular pager from back in the day. But it is. It is very much so. And the clip on it, and I remember back in the day, these would say Motorola on here, and the buttons are exactly on the top, as you see there. And so the form factor is very, very accurate to the old school pagers. And there is a premium. When you look at something like the JBL Clip 3, that's priced at $40, and other Bluetooth speakers that are designed to go on a bicycle or go on your person, we're thinking like $40, $50-ish, and this is $70. So there is a premium. You can get on eBay and, not eBay, on Amazon, and I guess you can get on eBay for a little bit lower priced. But $70, I think maybe if it was 65, 60-ish, then it's a premium product, and at least as far as the design goes, and maybe people would be more excited to pay for that price. But at $70 currently, it's okay. The original price was way too high at $100. So if you can get this cheaper than $65, go for it. So as usual, when I talk about products, I talk about conclusion first, and then we go over details of how I came to that conclusion. But I like this more than I expected I would. So I thought of it as a novelty. I had a pager back in the day, and it was very similar to this. And I was thinking it's kind of cool to have, and it'd be nice, but I wasn't imagining I would use it nearly as much as I do. So after having this while riding a Onewheel or an e-skate, I have to have it all the time. So the experience of it, I do think is worth the money for this pager. Again, $100, way too much. $65, kind of getting there. So what's actually kind of cool is when you turn on the pager, it's gonna make a beeping sound. So some of you are gonna think that's super annoying, and some of you are like, wow, that like reminds me of way back in the day where pagers actually beeped. So I don't think there's anything you can do to turn that off or that feature. So we're gonna go ahead and turn that on right now. You're gonna hold the power button, and it does that. So Bluetooth mode. So first time I did that, I was like, what on earth is that? So it is the pager. I do like the purple color, clear. They do have other colorways on the website. It does come with a light. So on the side right here, you're gonna press that button and the light turns on. And this is pretty good and pretty accessible for if you're looking for keys, or like I do, I have a lot of accessories in my backpack all the time, water, locks, stuff like that. And then to be able to grab something and just turn that on without having to open my phone and go to the camera app and then unlock and all that kind of stuff. So it's nice to have this feature right there available. Unfortunately, the aux auxiliary port doesn't work the way you may think it would. So the aux feature to connect your headphones or earbuds or whatever only works if you're playing music using a micro SD card. Okay, why that is, I have no idea. I wish that you could just plug in an aux headphone, earphone, whatever, the same way you would listen to it with Bluetooth, but you cannot. One important thing when we're talking about Bluetooth speakers is the connectivity. So you heard earlier when I started this, when I pressed the power button, it said Bluetooth mode on. So it works right away. It connects every single time so far. And I've been using this for about a week or so. So there's no issue with having to open up your phone, go to settings, and then like refine the Bluetooth connection. it is always on, and it's very, very reliable. And I find that so important. Not all Bluetooth speakers have that connectivity. It'll connect, but then it won't necessarily play the song, and it gets really annoying. So this is not one of those annoying ones. This one will work. One thing I noticed about the pager is that when I do get a text message and the music is playing, it does make a noise, so I know that I got a text message, which is good. However, I noticed that when I try to reply to a text message using voice, like if I pull out my phone and I press the voice button and I try to do voice to text, it doesn't work. And so my phone isn't picking up my voice, and this thing doesn't have a microphone. So I think the phone is expecting a Bluetooth device to have a microphone, and therefore it needs that device when it's connected to do the voice to text. And it basically doesn't allow the phone to do it. So that's an iPhone 13 mini. I don't know how it is with other phones or Androids or whatever. I don't necessarily think it's a fault of the speaker itself, but it's something to note as far as usability and like day-to-day use, because I do use this day-to-day. And this is a sponsored video. I reached out to these guys though. There are companies, small companies that reach out to me sometimes. I'm not that big of a channel, but they'll reach out to me and they'll want me to feature their product. And it's not something I would use, and it's not something that's necessarily good for the channel. But this company, I reached out to them because I'm a small channel and they have no idea who I am. But I found this pretty cool, and I reached out to them, and they were nice enough to send me a couple of these for review for you guys. And so far it's working really well. And I use this, again, every time that I'm riding the Escape right there, or the Onewheel right there. And this is great. Okay, I wanted to talk about sound quality, okay? I am far from an audiophile, so I really can't even tell when the music is good or not good. The car that I drive exclusively, this i3, it has 2 speakers, okay? 1 in each door, and that is it. When I compare that to our Mazda CX-5 with a lot more speakers, yes, I can tell the difference. But with music quality, I'm not that gung-ho about it. So if you're not that gung-ho about it, then I think it's totally fine. And you can't expect to have like optimum quality in something of this form factor in this size. One thing I want to note though, when I mount this, I have it on the shoulder strap on my backpack, and I can hear it just fine. And I was talking about it with my friend who rides his bike with me, and when I'm stepping maybe 6, 7, 8 feet away, he can barely or not even hear it, but I can. So it's nice to not have, headphones or wires or even earbuds in your ear, so that you can listen to traffic, you can listen to honking, you can listen to other pedestrians, road noise, whatever, and still have the music. So the idea of a Bluetooth speaker, whether it's this one or whether it's something else, I think is a good idea, at least compared to having something stuffed in your ear, to have something out in the open. And then this is not designed for loud music like a boombox for other people to hear, okay? This is a personal music device. So you can have it for yourself and you're not being obnoxious and playing loud music that people don't like. So this is very, very personal. And for what that is, it's great. And it does fit on your waist. And sometimes I will put this on like a chest clip, the sternum strap for the backpack. That one, the sound is a little bit more centered, right? As opposed to having it on one side or the other side. But I do like having the proximity that's a little bit closer to my ear. And I guess it looks better having it here than, stuck to my chest like that. So it looks like we had a couple volunteers to help me test to see how far they need to be from the speaker before they can no longer hear it. Right now we're testing the range of the sound, and I'm gonna start walking backwards, and then we're gonna see how far I have to be before we can no longer hear it. Thank you. All right, we're doing another test of the volume, and we're gonna see how far I can go before the music can no longer be heard. Cool. So let's go slow, and you just raise your hand when you can't hear anymore. Cool, thank you. So on max volume, it's actually further than I thought. So I think that's at least 20 feet-ish. Okay, another practical use case for this that I didn't even think I wanted or liked, okay? But it worked out. So I was at a party, it was actually a family reunion, and then I was showing them videos on my phone, and this happened to be on. And it was on my person, and the sound came out of the speaker. So, duh, that's what Bluetooth speakers do. But I guess I generally don't use Bluetooth speakers on the go, and so I wasn't used to that. And then the fact that this happened to be on, and I was playing the video that I was sharing, and the sound came out here, it's very, very convenient. Rather than everyone huddled over phone, and I'm filming right now on a Mini 13 or 13 Mini, so it's small, and the screen is small, and you don't necessarily want to have everyone kind of huddled over the phone. So when you have the speaker, then people can kind of sit back a little bit, and they don't necessarily need to see the video, but as long as they're hearing the audio, that's important to that I'm sharing. All right, so if you're wondering about runtime on this thing, I use this when I ride with my friend regularly, and our rides are generally 2.5 hours, and this will easily last 2.5 hours. It does charge, unfortunately, by micro USB as opposed to USB-C. USB-C is kind of the new standard these days, but then we have micro USB. So maybe in the new version, it could be USB-C, but it's not a big deal. We have a bunch of micro USB charging cables for various accessories. So it's kind of nitpicking when it comes to that. Let's go ahead and pull open this flap. So you can see USB on one side and the other side is aux. I pulled this open earlier. So that's the charge port on the right. And then on the left is the aux port. And on the bottom right there, you'll see that little slit. It doesn't come with it, but you can put a micro SD card and play music off the micro SD card. So I don't imagine doing that because then I'm limited to the music that I can play on there. And from what I've heard, the SD card does have a limit, and I don't recall what that is. So you can't put a giant card in there. I believe a 64 gigabyte will work. I'll go ahead and put in the description or maybe on the screen here after I talk to Bumpboxx to see what the limit for the SD card is. And again, it's not included, but it's a feature that you can add to it if you wanted to. Kind of looking at this is where the numbers would normally be when you have a real pager. One thing that is kind of annoying is, not annoying, well, yeah, okay, it's annoying, is that when you're putting this on, when you're clipping it, you need to push here, right? And to get the leverage, your fingers naturally want to go here and you're pushing the buttons by accident. So it takes some intention. It's not hard at all, but it's just, you need to be very aware that the buttons are up here, and therefore you're gonna have to kind of hold it like this as opposed to like this, because then you're gonna be pressing the buttons. So I would not want these buttons in any other place, because then you'd lose the consistency of how it looks like a pager. So it's cool that it's up here. It's just something to be aware of when you're clipping it on and off. You want to grip it like that. All right, so after I reached out to Bumpboxx and they agreed to send this out, there was no fine print. They didn't say, we need a video about this or that, or the video has to be this long, we want you to cover these features and don't say this, blah, blah, blah. They don't even know when this video is being released. So you guys are watching the video at the same time that Bumpboxx may be watching it. And so the links below, they did offer me a discount. I'm gonna reach out to them separately and see if I can offer you guys a discount through their website. But currently, there's no discount price, there's no affiliate link or anything like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and put links below to several stores or stuff that I could find it at, whether it's the website or whether it's, hesitant to do eBay because that link is gonna be expired by the time you watch this, but we'll have some Amazon ones and maybe other retailers, and you decide where you guys wanna get it from. And that's it. Let's go to free Red Bull from these guys.